Why is it spinning? There we go. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Aces53 with Ed Parco and myself. I'm Brian Galke, and normally this is a Thursday, so it would be where we have a guest joker, but we're going to take a little bit of a different spin today. I need to go remind myself to go Instagram to go live. All right, there we go.
Why is that, Brian? Because as you can see, Ed's behind a curtain.
Yes.
It's a little dark.
Ed is playing the Wizard of Oz.
Extra lights and everything. It was a very... I came on Allegiant, which from Stockton to here, and there wasn't a lot of room. But then I found out veterans can get more stuff on there, so I'll know that.
Yeah. Well, we should do an episode about that. It's like, what should you have when you travel if you're going to be on a podcast? Like, are AirPods okay? Do you need a light? Do you have noise canceling? All that good stuff. That should be an episode. Yeah. Since you're the podcast, that should be your episode.
Yeah, I brought mics, but the problem is the connector I need for the Apple. And usually I always have it in my briefcase, and I guess it's been a while. So I ran into Christine while I was here, and she's like, "Man, I haven't seen you in 2 years." Yeah, it's been about 2 years since I've been to a conference.
I've gone into hiding.
Yeah,
because of my industry.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what? If your industry was going well, you wouldn't have pivoted to where you are today.
Well, no, but I didn't hide. I just didn't go to conferences. And I was talking to somebody else. I go, "What other masterminds you in?" I'm like, "None, really," because yes, my industry took a hit, but at that point, I'd gone to so many.
Right.
What was I implementing? What did I have from it? And that's what, and then just the things I had to think about and the changes that I, created now. I mean, with helping the Brave, the benefit company, I had to talk about that at the table because, they do that need, wants, and whatever. And I talked about that, like the passion in your voice when you talked about that was just really amazing. And they talked about, communities, because my big push was I want to have this community after you got through the firewalk. And they're like, "What about the other people? That, you better be doing 10,000 to 15,000 people at each firewalk all over the country to get to your million you want to help." And
good point.
I said, okay. So then I created a community before the community. And that's what so the whole website, everything I'm doing is going to be finalized here shortly. And it's just, you keep adding and adding in that, plus the store I created for my personal stuff for all my podcasts. And then I created a whole bunch of other t-shirts and other stuff that designs just Chad. Actually, I should say Chad did. What happened was with the new update in ChatGPT, it asked you a question about yourself. I don't know if you noticed that. There was a new one. What did people not know about you in kindergarten or first grade or whatever? I ignored it. And then it says, "What do people normally get wrong about you?" And I said, "That I'm mean."
Wait, they said get wrong.
Exactly. They think I'm mean. I'm usually a nice guy. And so it created these fucking amazing statements like, not mean, mission focused. It's helping the brave, not the comfortable. Just shit like, I was like, man, these are perfect t-shirts. And it had like 20 different ones. And I'm like, okay, these would be perfect for, and that's the thing is you come up with these ideas, and how do you get them out if you don't have VAs? And everybody I talked to, I told them about Level 9. They didn't even know. I mean, Cossum was there, and he has his own Paleon or whatever it's called.
No idea.
Whatever it's called. Anyway, but they do more full-time, put people in place. And he doesn't do this, and he nor does he want to do that. He's like, it's too much involvement. I don't want to be that much involved. And so it's what I took away from this event. I guess I can say it was driven that I was at. It totally different. What are you laughing at?
Because I was trying to think if that was the right name or not.
It is.
Because remember, it was something else before, and then they separated, and I was thinking, did he say the right name or not?
Yeah, the right name. By the way, they're gonna, when traffic conversion went away, there was a big hole in San Diego. They're filling it with something.
Are they really? That's awesome.
Yeah, you'll see it posted. I can't say anything because they're going to have everybody who's members sign up for it first, and then they're going to put it out. And they want it to be sold out so that there's such a FOMO. So, it'll be there will be something there in place to replace that.
Well, good. There needs to be something. That's the whole thing. There's definitely a void, and that's an example of branding gone wrong, right? Like that was something that had a really strong brand. A company bought it and then took away everything that made it their brand, And what happened to it? They couldn't even fill the next year's conference. The first year they rode the legacy, of who ran that, what it was. And the next year they tried to move it to a different location. They changed how it was going to work. And they didn't look at how does it benefit the audience. They made decisions in a vacuum. And that's one of the challenges is, like you're talking about, you're constantly changing, re-evolving your brand. That's one of the things that companies don't look at. Living here in Dallas, I think Southwest Airlines is making a bad decision because Southwest Airlines was known for two things. One, unassigned seats and free bags. And now they're assigning seats and now they're charging for bags. So now they're a commodity. Like people will fly because people hate other airlines, but they're going to lose their diehard fans who were with them for that reason. I think they'll be okay because they have that A-list companion or whatever. If you fly enough, somebody flies with you for free, and that's a unique program. But a majority of the people that went with them because they loved that they were different, now they're just like every other airline.
Yeah, but I never flew them because I didn't want to be a cattle call.
Yeah, but you don't live in Dallas. Like in Dallas, it's DFW Airport or Love Field, and Southwest was where a majority of people went because the free bags. And, like you said, it's a dicey thing because it's like riding the school bus as a kid. People try and block off a seat, and then you feel weird asking. And
they have their hands in their hoodie.
Yes, exactly. Pretending to be something else. That's the whole joke on Southwest was if you're group C, that's center seat. That's what the C stands for because that's all the seats that are left. But I just think they made a bad branding decision.
Yeah, well, maybe they've researched and found out that their perfect client was everybody.
Yeah,
that's that's when you talk about brand. I got this chair. I got to stop this chair from going back. When you talk about branding, if you don't, it doesn't matter how you brand if you don't know who your client is. And
Agreed.
So they thought because of the pandemic, everything else, their client changed, and they needed more people.
Well, and I can go a different route. I can go sports, which me, I'm not a big sports guy, but here, the way that the new owners of the Mavs, like before it was Mark Cuban, he was diehard, he cared about the fans and everything else. When they made that Luka trade, lots of people went away with their tickets. Now there's a theory behind they did that on purpose because they want to move the team to Vegas because they're a casino, all kinds of stuff like that. But people need to look at, is their brand consistent or not? But anyway, we're on to you returning back to live events. And so what were your big takeaways after 2 years off?
I need another 2 years off. No,
that's one way to look at it.
I mean, no, it's just the problem is you're here for so many days, and then and you're in this thing from breakfast. They did a breakfast, and then it was 9 o'clock in the room, and then they did a lunch, and then they did the after dinner. Then you had a dinner, and so they take care of their people really well with their members. And so I mean, it's just remembering that you need to make sure you get to bed early.
Well, and the interesting thing about that one is you are attending the higher level one, but what they have is they have a red velvet rope. If you've ever read Never Split the Difference, Book Yourself Solid. They've got the red velvet rope, and that is you have to be at a certain income, you have to have certain criteria.
The one I'm at,
yeah. But they also have an incubator one for if you're not at that level yet to help you grow to get there.
What's it called?
I don't remember the name of it, but somebody else was telling me about it. Like that was
I met a guy who's in that one who's looking to come to this one, and he's going to stay in that one.
He's going to stay in that one. Well, I imagine it's learning. It's just economies of scale. So that one is significantly less than the one that you attended, which has a high, hefty year. But you know what? I look at the people who attend and spend the money there, and they make their money back. So it goes back to those questions of, is it worth it to invest travel and time plus the event itself? And it sounds like from what you said, you can't share a lot, but it was well worth it for you.
Yeah, it depends on what you're looking for. I mean, there's a lot of e-commerce people on this one. There is a lot of ADD people. What I mean is they're just so fucking smart.
Yes.
And there's like this one lady who can see algorithms and everything, and she's like help so many of the people fix certain things. And it's like, it like cost him. He's so smart, and what's the other guy's name? Jordan, not Jordan, but is it Jordan?
The webinar guy?
Yeah. He's,
I can't remember his name.
Dude, he is so smart. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the way he thinks about writing emails and stuff like that is just fucking out there.
Wish I could join. It wasn't in the cards this week with kiddo and everything else, but
Yeah.
I do have some FOMO.
Yeah, that's okay. You don't need to. I didn't take notes. I wrote stuff down, but I'm not you.
Yeah.
When it comes to take a note, but I mean, it was nice to meet a bunch of people. I met some people who they have a ton of leads for the benefit people.
Nice.
So, yeah. So down the road, I'll get them involved to get those leads from. But then I saw from one of Costum's co-business owner, he had taken ChatGPT, included an API, and he created this whole search thing to where when they have somebody who they upload their application of what they're looking for somebody, right, in a EA, and then they have a whole system about what the EAs are, and it matches them, and it's always through ChatGPT.
Yeah. Crazy.
I watched this going, holy shit, that didn't even know you could do that.
I know, and the weird part is they let Steve be a part of it too, like because you said smart people, and now Steve's just to balance them out.
No, that he's on the faculty.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he's good. He's just on the faculty.
True. I can't wait to harass him in person next week. So
Costum picked up all that negative stuff.
No, well, yeah. Costum's got to I can't imagine he did that exit 2 years ago, a year ago.
Yeah.
Something like that. And
he did it at the right time.
Oh, absolutely. It's like we talk about any industry you're in, if you're not constantly evolving and paying attention, is it time to pivot to a new vertical or a whole new industry? It's a tough thing. I mean, we talked about this before, not getting political or anything, but all the things that I was told as a kid to go get safe jobs aren't there anymore. So it was, be a mid-level manager and, you'll be safe. And then 2024 was the great unbossing where all these companies got rid of the mid-level management because they needed the workers and they didn't want to cut people up top. Then it was, go work for a government job because you can just work for 20 years and then you can retire and get pension for life. And a lot of people found out this year that government jobs aren't going to be as safe as they once were. And I used to work with government officials, and there was a joke of, you'll never get fired for not making a decision. You only get fired for making a decision. So a lot of government workers are encouraged not to do anything and just blend in and ride out the clock. So it's, but I talked to somebody, one of my sister's companies is getting bought out by another company, and they have redundant departments. And so all those people, if someone comes in and gets acquired, you have to start thinking, oh crap, where do I go? Right. I talked to somebody else who their company is affected by the tariffs because they buy a lot of their products from China. And so as soon as they were announced that the tariffs may go up, that company told everybody, we're doing a 20% across the board pay cut. And they already put it into action. So the first paycheck is already hit 20% less. So it's just, you never know what you're doing. That's why we've been talking for months and months about you have to be building a personal brand. You have to be building external things, because if you work for anyone, it doesn't matter who it is, you're always at someone else's mercy and you have no control, but you can control your personal brand. If anything happens, how do you adjust and pivot?
Right. And even the company you're building shouldn't be your personal brand. You need to have your own personal brand, because what I saw and talked to these people that I was around, I mean, they're fucking making companies and selling them, or, like taking exits right at the right time. Mm-hmm. Somebody else was talking about he showed everything about one of the, companies and how much money he made in a couple of years and then sold out in 2019. Why did he sell it in 2019? There was no more fear.
Right.
And now the fear is there. It's back again.
Mm-hmm.
There is so many things to be able to go do now that was up until, from 16 through probably 18 into 19, that was spurring certain industries and certain things. I don't want to get into everything on the Facebook.
Yeah.
I'll tell you afterwards.
Yeah, that's right.
But there's so many opportunities out there. That's what I saw. So many different things of doing things that we don't even think about or haven't even thought about. And it's just there. It's if you can just get out of your own way, there's so much there.
And that's the whole reason to go to events. Like a lot of times people go for the big name speakers, and the event you went to, there are quote unquote big name speakers within a certain industry. Like I was talking to someone who lives here locally, and she owns a speaker agency, and that is they represent speakers just like, as agents, just like sports athletes have agents.
They're not sponsoring the show.
Yeah, no, but I didn't say their name. But what I'm saying is,
no.
What's that?
This cup, I turned it around.
Oh,
they're not sponsoring.
I thought you said me.
No, I said I'm turning this around because they're not sponsoring.
Yeah, so we've had Krista on. So Chris was who I was talking to the other day, and crap, now I forgot what we were talking about.
Speaker.
Yeah, but I don't remember what.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, way to go for interrupting me, Ed. Damn you, Ed. Anyway, crap, I forgot what I was going. Oh, what I was saying is a lot of the people you were in the room with, they're well-known speakers within a certain segment, like associations, these type of entrepreneurial events. What's interesting is I was talking to her and I was mentioning names. She's like, I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is, because she works mainly with corporations and bureaus. And it's interesting that there's a different industry. So my point with that is get into rooms where people are doing something you don't know about, but they're successful. So you said you went, you invested, flying back out to Vegas. You were just there last week. You went back in and you said you walked away with a ton of knowledge that you wouldn't have otherwise gotten, because it wasn't just listening to a speaker on stage. It's people peeking behind the curtain, showing you this is what's working for me in my business and how you can immediately put it to use.
There was that. And then just that's the thing we talk about. Why do you go to these events? People in the audience and
networking.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really important because that's where the stuff is, That's just like the guy I ran into this morning, what he showed on email marketing and how to get your email list together and all the different things. And he didn't even have a whole thing. It was a wicked smart thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, that was just fast. Yeah.
That the amount of people that are out there making money, we're taught, at least I'll say how I was taught. I was taught invest in real estate, invest in stocks, or go work for a company. And now we're seeing complete and total pivots to start a company, be an affiliate marketer. Like we talk about all the time, Go High Levels here in Dallas, 40% affiliate fees paid back. So that's just referring service to somebody else. It's the old, Mary Kay model, Amway, you name it. There's so many different things that now everybody, and I hate this to a degree when I say it, but is an influencer, not in I need to be Instagram famous, but people now trust other people. So if you say, hey, this works for me, people trust that more than an advert that they see, as they're on their timeline or on news or whatever you're watching. And that's where we've evolved to. So we have, was Martha there?
No.
Okay. Like
nobody other than who I told you was there.
Okay. And the reason I ask is she's a good example. I don't know if you saw this week's kind of like shitstorm that hit social media of Modera or one of these MLM companies just sent out an email saying we're done.
Oh, really?
And so I saw like news feeds going nuts because this was people's income stream. And I know several people that were with Beachbody that made into the six figures every year on their affiliate fees. January of 2025, they cut all those off. So it's been an interesting time for even that whole industry of MLM, but yet everybody has the ability to refer things. So any product that you love, anything that you use, find out if they have an affiliate fee or an affiliate link, that you can share with people. And don't run out and sign up for 2,000 different things and just, spam all your friends. But if somebody asks you, hey, what's something you really like? For example, we're on StreamYard. And if somebody was to ask, and I don't even know if they have an affiliate, and if you had an affiliate link, you could say, hey, this is what I use and that's what I love. What's that?
We used to put it all the time. We've had thousands of people look at it, but nobody did it.
Right. I'm just saying, if it's something you use, it doesn't hurt to say, hey, if there's a referral fee for it, then do it. I think I've got like 5 different ones. There's not many that I use, but it's something I use all the time. So I have one for Opus Clips. Getting ready to do another one for Go High Level, and I'll tell you more about that one later. But it's just, if there's something you use and someone else can benefit from it, don't be afraid to share it, even if you profit on it. So like on my webpage, if I say, hey, these are my Amazon affiliate links for all the books that I recommend. Now I make 5 cents at it, but it's like, if I'm referring them anyway, why not just put the link out there? So
I agree.
Yeah. All right. I know we're keeping today short. What else do you want to cover?
One last thing. So we had a guy talking about a newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
He has like 17 people working off of this newsletter. It's been around a while.
Yeah.
But he makes bang. And you said about what people told you to do with your money, buy real estate.
Yep.
Well, that's what he's doing. He all the extra money he keeps buying real estate because he's like, I'll eventually someday sell this, and then the real estate will be my retirement.
Absolutely. We're just saying there's more options than what we were originally told. It was 401k, stock market, real estate was all I was ever taught as a kid. But now there's so much out there that's available. And people have affordable courses. Speaking of Martha, like she launched one that I think it's like $97 a month, and it's how does she help people grow their home-based businesses? And she's gotten several people to, over 10,000 a month in a short period of time by already referring things that they already have. So she's got a book about it, everything else. But
all right, so one last thing I'm going to leave since you brought the 97 up, the 7. Stop using 7. It's 9s or 5s, and 5s do better than 9s.
Really?
Yes.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's a good tip. Because I need to fix something on my website anyway.
Huh?
As I need to fix 2 things on my website anyway.
So I'll get the exact percentages and I'll send them to you for the 9 and 5.
You better.
But yeah, that was like, because we all heard use 997 or whatever, 97. No, that was just somebody came up with it and everybody ran with it. So
I have a funny one. I was looking up the numbers so I could tell you what the latest one is. So did Sean and Lacey's podcast, on my way to Secret Knock, they're like, hey, we've got a spot. You want to come out to Vegas? And podcasts are free. I had to spend my own money to fly out there, do the hotel for the night. But one of the clips is at 400,000 views, and it's adding followers again. So it's people are always like, well, do I spend money or not? If you think something will benefit you in the long run, go do it. Yep. So like I said, I trade in points for that hotel. Like that's the night I stayed at the Venetian, and it was going to be a couple $100s a night. And I looked, and it was like on AA points, it was super cheap. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to stay there. And now again, it's something that's taking off. So I know it's hard. I just did a post about this the other day. When you have bills coming in, no income to match it, it's hard to want to spend additional money. But if you don't, you're just going to stay stuck where you are. And before we came on, and you just said you were thoroughly impressed with what you learned, and you're happy you invested to go spend the time out there.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Can you take us out?
Yep. All right, everybody.
I'll pick it up next week, I promise.
Yeah. I'm going to make you do all the work. I'm just going to sit back and be lazy. Just sit in my chair and be like, yeah, Ed, go take care of it. Anyway. All right, everybody. Once again, thank you for joining Aces53 with Ed Parco and myself. Tuesdays, it's just Ed and I, like today. And then on Thursdays, we try and bring in a guest that we call a joker. That's somebody with a special skill or talent that can help you, and we can learn from at the exact same time. So it is at noon Central, 10 o'clock Pacific on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Share it with your friends, subscribe, follow us, all that fun stuff. And we'll see y'all next week. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Ed. Bye.
Stay here.
End the stream.
Don't cry.